Good evening tonight, everyone. I'm here to shed some light on you about suicide. And I'm here mainly because a few weeks ago, I recently heard a friend of mine decided to take his own life. And he was missing for a time period, and then they found his car in the river and stuff like that. So try and tell you guys to discuss and try and help people with that. And that's what I'll be bringing tonight. And so with the first slide, it's the 10th leading cause of death in the United States as of right now, but with teens it's the second leading highest, and right here it's kind of small, but it's 41,149 deaths recorded as of 2013 by Central Disease and Control Centers and Preventions. So to begin, people show signs of suicide by saying their goodbyes and things like that. And my friend, he used pills and then drove his car into the water, which is the worst way. And some signs are feeling hopelessness, reckless, being trapped, anxious, and just things like that. And wanting to say their goodbyes, like it even says right there, just thinking that everything's gonna be all right, but I guess it's not. It's hard to describe something. Different people take, I guess, depression and things like that differently. Next, I'd like to transition over to the misconceptions on suicide. No, here's a picture, but it's kind of gruesome. Suicide can be misleading. People think that just because someone says they want to kill themselves, they have to be crazy or something like that, which is very untrue. And when people hear that, then they think, okay, if I'm crazy to talk, it's crazy to think I'm going to kill myself. Maybe it's crazy if I talk about it, and they don't want to talk about it. And that's where I think he didn't like to talk about his emotions and things like that. And that's where they get that trap feeling, and then they don't have anywhere to go to. So when people get these misconceptions out there, it's just in a way, you're not even trying to be bad or put them down, but you already are just by, I guess, can't think of the word. Can't think of it off my head, but one minute. But most do try and find help in people. Most try and find help, but they can't. It's unsuccessful at times, and it's sad. Finally, I'd like to move on how to help people with suicide. And the do's with that are to listen to someone. You want to listen, you want to be there for them. You don't want to put them down, I guess. You don't want to, if they're trying to tell you something, you don't want to act shocked about it. And you want to be yourself. Don't want to be a different person around them just because they have this feeling and things like that, and grief, and they want to have a friend. They don't want to be talking to someone that they don't even know just because they have this predicament on their hands and the situation. And I guess you also want to be sympathetic. You want to get and understand what they're trying to say and the concept that they're trying to get at with the suicide, and how they talk about it. What is it? Is it depression? Is it losing someone, something dear to them, something tragic? You got to find the root of it, the cause, so that you can help with them and get through. And you also want friends and family to be involved with you. You want to let their parents know, not every person, but their close friends and associates and things like that. And you don't want to argue with them. You don't want to be tell them that, oh, just because you're having this, that's wrong. You can't be thinking that suicide's a sin, like they say, which it is, but you don't want to tell them that, because then they get even more regrets and feelings about it and think bad about it. And then if they do go through with it, they're unconscious. They're not conscious the whole time thinking about it, so it's terrible. And like I said earlier, you don't want to act shocked, because then that's unfriendly. Then having a shock effect, and then they don't think that you were their friend. They believe that you weren't close to them, didn't know their emotions, how they truly felt about something. You don't want that. You don't want to portray that effect on them. And if the inevitable does happen, you don't want to be the one blaming yourself, oh, I could have done something to do it, because you don't want that. You don't want that grief on your hands. That's just terrible for anybody to do. You don't want to blame yourself for something that you could you can't prevent that. You never know the last time you're ever going to actually talk to somebody, so you can't like put yourself in a blaming way. You want to encourage positive life changes. A statistic from that same CDC website and medical center said that 90% of people who actually do kill themselves have one or more mental disorders, which is one, depression, bipolar, and also schizophrenia. And bipolar is also like a mood disorder and things like that, and they go from extreme highs to extreme lows in cases, and mixed with depression, that's not good, and that's what also my friend had. He was also, and I'd like to end with an overview on the topic of suicide. With the numbers trending upward as of the past 5 years, I hope by me being here today, speaking on the topic, that you guys go out and do what you can and try and talk to somebody near and dear to you and see if they're having problems, even if you know they're not. You always want to talk to somebody, because if they don't shed light on it, how do you know that they're feeling that way? Like, if you don't always question them, because even if they live in your household, you might know what's not going on. And that's how, so I hope this encourages everyone to go and make a stand. And that's what I have to say about it.